Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Fad Show. So this week I am super excited to introduce you to my 2019 Golf Alltrack SEL manual. So ever since I sold my last Jetta Sport Wagon about 5 or so years ago, I've been dying to have a manual fully loaded wagon. There's been absolutely no options on the US market for the last few years. Thank you so much, Volkswagen, for actually making this car. Ever since the Alltrack came out in 2017, I had my eye on these, but there's kind of lacking the manual in the highest trim, which I wanted for a daily driver. I just kind of like having those creature comforts. So finally they've made this car, and I reckon that this is going to be the last ever manual wagon sold in the United States. I mean, someone maybe could change my mind and introduce one going forward, but I don't realistically think that that's going to happen. So as happy as it is, it's also kind of sad because Volkswagen sold their first wagon in the United States back in 1966 with the Type 3, and since then there's been an option all along in the United States, and at the end of this year, Volkswagen announced that they're going to secure production the Golf Sport Wagon in the United States, and this being the last manual wagon right now, I just don't think that there'll be any others going forward. I do, praise Volkswagen Audi Group because they're bringing the RS6 wagon to the United States, but not going to be available in a manual. BMW announced that they're killing their manual or their wagon in the United States. So going forward, I don't think there's going to be any more options, sadly. So this is kind of a last of a generation, and I wasn't actually anticipating buying the car. I was actually going to keep daily driving my Jetta, and I was looking for something sporty, but I guess the amazing deals that they had on these, with them going away, I just couldn't pass it up, and I wanted to speak with my buying power, or with my purchase, that I appreciate what they did here. So like I said, as happy as it is that Volkswagen made this car, it is sombering and sad at the same time, just based on the fact that it's the last of a generation, last manual wagon, and really kind of the last affordable wagon that's available, because now the only ones going forward are Volvo, Mercedes, and I guess Audi now with the new RS6. So they're really the only affordable option other than this in the United States right now is the Buick Regal Touareg, which I feel like if you're shopping for a German wagon, it's probably not something you're really cross-shopping too much. So with that, I'd like to give a moment of silence and take some time to remember all the great enthusiast, manual, amazing wagons that we had available to us over the years. And hopefully this car will live on in remembrance of those vehicles. So car enthusiasts always scold the manufacturer for canceling their enthusiast vehicles, and the defense the manufacturers always use is, well, no one bought it. And there's probably some truth to that. Car enthusiasts are frugal. They need to save money to enjoy their passion. I think they like to get the best deal, and they don't buy brand new cars. They usually buy secondhand vehicles so they can get more car for their money, get more of their passion per dollar. So it kind of makes sense to me why they don't get the number of sales that they're looking for with these vehicles, and I guess I kind of understand the manufacturer's defenses to why they sell or why they cancel them, which I don't quite understand the niche vehicles they produce, like the coupe SUVs, but that only Beverly Hills housewives and grown-up Jersey Shore character wannabes buy. But I digress. And I decided to speak with my wallet and buy this car even though I didn't really need it. I have a daily driver, so this car, I guess, is going to be an alternate daily driver / road trip car for me. but it does kind of fit all my life passions in one vehicle, being kind of sporty, off-roady, adventure-y, manual, nice features. It's pretty much everything I wanted. It's me on wheels. So that's why I bought the vehicle. So let's talk about 2019 Golf Alltrack SEL and what this vehicle is. So as I said, mine is the top line SEL trim with the 6-speed manual transmission. This vehicle had an MSRP of just shy of $36,000, and they're actually available for an amazing deal right now. They gave me an amazing trade-in value for my BMW 328D, which I wasn't even trying to trade in, but it was too good to turn down. And then also I got this vehicle for almost $6,000 off MSRP. I paid $30,000 even for this, which I think is an amazing deal. But this vehicle pretty much has every modern feature that you could want. It has adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, has parking sensors all over it. Has big infotainment system, a nice stereo, has interior lighting, LED headlights, blind spot monitoring, pretty much everything you could want in a modern vehicle. A little bit, it's on the Mark 7.5 MQB chassis. The only differences to the Alltrack is you get this sporty body cladding. It has 6.9 inches of ground clearance, which is only 0.6 inches higher than the actual Golf Sport Wagon, but it also does have wider diameter tires to give it overall bigger ride height than the Sport Wagon itself. As I said, it has these off-roady kind of body cladding stuff. It has a carbon Kevlar skid plate underneath it. It has the same MQB 2-liter TFSI engine, which in this application produces 168 horsepower. I'm not sure on torque. With the 6-speed manual, it goes to 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds, so it's fast enough. Yeah, there could be a little bit more. Could be a little bit less, though, too, and I'm pretty happy with it. My old TDI wagon was 8.1 seconds to 60, so it's much more expeditious than that. And it does still have, with the turbo gasoline engine, it does actually have some good turbo punch to it, so it doesn't feel too lacking in the torque department. It has a Haldex all-wheel drive system, which has been around forever in Volkswagens, and I haven't really tested it off-road or in the snow before. I've never had one before, so I guess I'll update that in a later vehicle. But that's pretty much it. That's a good big overview of what the vehicle is. So now let's get in and take it for a drive, and I'll discuss the things that after 500 miles I like and dislike about the vehicle. I will say I have had the car for about a month now, but I was waiting to get my front full clear bob put on it before I drove it too much. So I only have about 500 miles on the car, but there are some things that are standing out that I like a lot about this car, and then just a few minor gripes that I've had so far in 500 miles. So with that, let's go for a drive, and I'll talk about what I like and don't like about this car. All right, so now that we're on the road, let's talk about the things that I like about this car. So as I said before, this car is like the total package for me. It's everything I want in a car. So I don't know if that's really a particular thing to like, but I just like how the car integrates the manual transmission with modern technology. It has a little bit of ground clearance to give you some peace of mind. Like, I used to be super worried about parking my BMW 328D because it had that M Sport lift spoiler. So like, you basically couldn't go over those cement blocks they put at the front of a parking spot because it was so low. This car actually clears those, which is pretty much about all the off-roading I need. But when I left that area where I was filming back there, there's some pretty good ruts, and it seemed to handle it all right. Definitely would not have gone over them in the other car. And I guess having the carbon Kevlar skid plate gives you a little bit of peace of mind, especially because these vehicles have a plastic oil pan. But, you know, I like the overall package. It's pretty sporty for what it is. 168 horsepower is enough for a daily driver or road trip car, or whatever I'm going to use this for. And having a 6-speed manual just always makes it feel so much more sprightly, I guess. Sorry, couldn't think of a good word for it. And then I like how they integrate all the technology with the manual transmission, like the lane keeping assist and the adaptive cruise control. It'll actually go all the way down to, I think it's like 20 or 50 miles an hour, so it'll just come up on the screen and tell you to basically downshift for you, or for it. It has automatic parking, which I haven't used. It has the blind spot monitoring, all the parking sensors all over. This has way more parking sensors than my BMW. The stereo is amazing. This Fender audio, I actually think it beats the Harbin Kardon in my BMW. It's probably about equal on clarity, but it has a little bit more punch in the bass department, which is kind of nice. So yeah, and then for me, the Volkswagen manual transmission, like shifter and clutch combination, has just always been top notch. Or it's my second favorite to Honda. Honda, I think, is a little bit more notchy and gives you a little bit better feel, but the Volkswagen is a little bit more spongy, but still super light and light clutch. And for a daily driver, I love Volkswagen transmissions. So this car actually has pretty good handling for what it is, being slightly raised up from the regular Golf Sport Wagon and trying to be kind of an off-road vehicle. But it actually handles really well. And as much as everyone complains about electric power steering, this Volkswagen one actually gives you just ever so slight bit of road feel, far above my BMW 328D, probably not along the likes of Porsche electric power steering, which is the best that I've driven so far. But it's still nice that you have just a little bit of road feel in this car, which is, like I said, a pleasure compared to my BMW 328D. The only thing I wish is it just has like the traditional super light Volkswagen steering, which for everyday driving I absolutely love. But I wish it had a sport mode, kind of like my BMW did, to heavy up the steering, just because it actually does give you some feel. Unlike in my BMW, which the heavy steering was pointless because it didn't give you any feel. This one, like, the only mode it has other than normal is eco and off-road, so there's no mode that gives you any heavier steering. So that would be nice, but just a minor gripe. I guess the only other thing that I've noticed so far about this car that really annoys me is I don't like how when you're parking, specifically when you go into reverse, the backup camera comes on, obviously, but the parking sensors, where it shows you how far away you are, don't come up without pressing another button. So it's kind of annoying. I wish when I was parking I at least had those parking sensors, because it's kind of nice to have, especially when you're trying to parallel park. And I like to put my car directly in the middle between the car in front of me and behind me to minimize the chances of getting hit by someone else leaving. So it'd be kind of nice to have that come up automatically, but it's just a minor gripe. That's pretty much it so far as minor gripes. I mean, honestly, I kind of wish that you could have gotten the Golf Sport Wagon SEL with a manual, because I don't really know if I need the Alltrack things, I guess. Like the little bit higher ride height and all the body cladding is kind of, it's not really an off-road vehicle. It's a slightly raised up all-wheel drive wagon with a skid plate that maybe gives you like tiny bit more confidence if you're going down a trail or something. I would never take this on an actual off-road course, obviously, but I guess if you live in an area with crappy roads, like here in Texas, the roads are horrible, so it's just nice having that extra peace of mind of just a slight bit more of ground clearance, knowing you have a solid skid plate underneath you, and then I guess the peace of mind of having all-wheel drive if the weather degrades. But that's pretty much it. That sums up my initial impressions for this car, which are mostly all good. And as I said, thank you so much, Volkswagen, for making this car. And thank you guys for watching this show. If there's any other questions you have about the vehicle or any other videos you want to see with this vehicle, I'll probably do periodic updates. I plan to compare it to my 2002 Volkswagen Jetta Wagon. And that's pretty much the only ideas I have for it so far. But if there's any videos you want me to make or questions you have about the car, then please don't hesitate to ask. And as always, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you have a great day. And if you really like this episode and you want to see more content of this wagon and my other wagons, then subscribe to my channel and like my videos so I can share it with everyone else. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.